Chapter 6: Opportunity plus weak boundaries. This pathway is different from the others because it doesn't start from a deep emotional wound. It starts from something much more ordinary. Access plus poor boundaries plus gradual rationalization. Many affairs happen not because someone was unhappy, lonely, or unfulfilled, but because they never learned where the line actually is with other people, and they don't recognize they're crossing it until they're already far past it. What weak boundaries really mean? It's not flirting or obvious bad behavior. It's things like being overly friendly and personal with coworkers, sharing emotional details with someone outside the relationship, private texting that feels harmless, one-on-one time that feels innocent, enjoying attention without questioning it, not shutting down subtle emotional intimacy early. They tell themselves, I'm just being nice, we're just friends. This is harmless. And at first, it is why opportunity matters so much. Affairs often require repeated contact, privacy, emotional familiarity over time. Workplaces, gyms, travel, online messaging, these provide exactly that. If you put two people with weak boundaries into frequent proximity, emotional intimacy can form without intention. The psychological mechanism. Humans bond through repeated interaction, personal conversation, shared experiences, emotional disclosure, humor and inside jokes. That's how friendships form. That's also how affairs form. The difference is in where the boundary is placed. People with strong boundaries stop the process early. People with weak boundaries let it continue because nothing bad has happened yet. The slow drift. This is how it usually progresses. Friendly conversations, personal topics, private jokes, texting outside of necessary reasons, looking forward to seeing them, not mentioning them at home, sharing frustrations, emotional closeness, attraction, affair. At no point did it feel like a decision. It felt like a series of harmless moments. Chris and Natalie, together 8 years. Chris is loyal, loves Natalie, and has no intention of cheating. At work, a new colleague joins his team. They work closely on projects and get along well. They joke. They chat during breaks. Nothing inappropriate. Chris mentions her at home casually at first. Step 1. Familiarity grows. They start messaging occasionally about work, then memes, then random thoughts. Chris thinks, we're just friends. No red flags in his mind. Step 2. Emotional tone changes. She starts sharing small personal things about her life. Chris listens and responds thoughtfully. He starts sharing things too. Still feels harmless, but now they are bonding emotionally. Step 3. Secrecy begins very subtly. Chris stops mentioning how often they talk, not because he's hiding anything, but because he senses Natalie might misunderstand. This is the first real boundary crossing. Secrecy enters before anything inappropriate has happened. Step 4. Emotional reliance. He looks forward to her messages, feels understood by her. They vent to each other about stress. Now she knows parts of his inner world that Natalie hasn't heard recently. Emotional intimacy has transferred. Step 5. Attraction appears. One day he notices he's thinking about her outside work. Feels a little rush when she texts. Now he's confused because he never meant for this to happen. Why does this turn into an affair? Because by the time he realizes this is becoming dangerous, he is already emotionally attached, and it feels too meaningful to abruptly cut off. The key truth: this type of cheating doesn't happen because someone was searching for something. It happens because they never learned to recognize the early boundary lines that prevent emotional intimacy from forming with others. The tragic irony. If Chris had done just one thing early on, kept conversations professional, avoided personal texting, mentioned her often at home, avoided one-on-one bonding, nothing would have developed. Not because he's especially moral, because the bond never would have had the conditions to grow. Why is this so preventable? People who don't cheat often have a very simple rule. I don't build emotional closeness with people I could be attracted to. Not because they're paranoid, because they understand how bonding actually works. Strong relationships aren't protected by trust alone. They're protected by clear practice boundaries long before temptation appears.